Ah, how toasty is this? It's like raining and 4 degrees outside, but here is just heaven. And ideal for my October wrap-up, so welcome. For those of you who regularly watch my wrap-ups, I read 4 books again in October, which is really the trend of this year. So let's get to it. The first book that I read at the beginning of the month, I think, was the first 15 Lives of Harry August. Yeah, Harry August by Claire North, who is a pseudonym for another writer, I think. And yeah, I gave this book 3 stars. This is about Harry August and his first 15 lives. And contrary to like Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, in which the main character dies but then keeps on living at the same time. So you see how her life would evolve after she dies each time, but this is about Harry August living his entire life and then dying and then being reborn again into the same world, on the same day, on the same year, but with the memories of the lives that he has lived before then. So yeah, I found this quite an interesting concept, and it delivered on that front, but I wasn't all that keen on the mystery element about how someone during his lifetime is trying to destroy Earth with the knowledge that he has accumulated in his previous lives. And yeah, let's say I was more a fan of the concept of reliving each time than the actual plot, but you know, still a 3-star read. Then the second book that I read in October was one that I was really looking forward to reading because I saw it on so many people's channels, and actually I saw it a bunch of times on Lauren and the Books channels because I think this is her favorite read of 2016 so far, and that's The Tidal Zone by Sarah Moss. Yeah, Sarah Moss. And I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. This is about a stay-at-home dad who's... My parrot is really on... Stupid bird. So this is about a stay-at-home dad who suddenly gets a telephone call that his daughter has collapsed, and this is about what happens after that, because the daughter lives, but it's about how they have to accept that she is suddenly so mortal, because you know she is mortal, but the fact that she might have died is suddenly so clear, and it has such a great impact on their family life that it's, yeah, everything that they do or talk about centers around her almost dying. And I found this a really interesting character study about how a family has to cope with someone living so close to you, almost dying, and you know, being mortal all of a sudden. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, but I didn't give it 5 stars because there's a whole subplot about the Coventry Cathedral and the bombing of it, and I understand the symbolism of it because it was bombed and they had to rebuild it again, just like they have to rebuild their family again after what has happened. But I don't know, it didn't really interest me that much, and despite the symbolism, I found it a little bit tedious. Then the third book is one that I finished finally after like half a year of reading it, and that is Sapiens, A Small History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. He's an Israeli writer. This is a non-fiction book about what it says on the tin, A Small History of Humankind, and this was very interesting, very fascinating, very dense, which is why I took like half a year to read it. And I have to say that everything that I've read in this book, I think I've forgotten 90% of it already, but when I was reading it I found it really interesting, so that's something. Also a 4-star read, I think, that I gave it. And yeah, I borrowed it from a friend, so she'll be happy to have it back after half a year, I think. And then the 4th book that I read at the end of October was The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson, and this was one that I hauled also recently. I bought this one in Brussels the other month, and I wanted to read this one because this is about Maggie Nelson being pregnant and her partner transitioning from female to male. And it was a bit, if I have to be honest, I don't know that much about transgenders and transgender issues and everything that comes along with it. I mostly bought it to be more informed about the issues, and of course when you have Maggie Nelson writing about it, it's so much more beautiful written, it's so much more prosaic than yeah, I don't know, if you would have read a Wikipedia article about it. What I loved most about this book was that she is pregnant and her partner is transitioning, so both of their bodies are changing in wholly different ways, but you know, that common line between them was so interesting. Another solid 4-star read. So those were the 4 books that I read in October. Oh, stupid bird. So those were the 4 books that I read in October. Again, 4 books. Maybe November will be a more productive reading month, because what is more cozier than reading in front of a fire? You tell me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh yeah, the bird says bye too.